Hi, I'm Alex.
I'm Erik.
And today we're going to talk about the medical degree recognition abroad. So once your medical studies are over and you want to maybe move somewhere else or maybe even stay in Italy,
Maybe stay in Italy.
how does it work? Well, to address this topic, we decided to actually divide it maybe and talk about the European recognition first, so working in Europe, then maybe the non-European situation, and then go more into the specifics of specific countries, like, for example, United States. So let's begin with Europe first.
Right.
And let me begin then, Erik.
Yeah.
As you know, I'm working in Germany right now, and I'm in a specialty training. So that's a live example of how it was possible for me to finalize my studies and begin working in Germany. That was also the case for many of my classmates that graduated with me. We have a very wide spread of our graduates. So I have friends in Switzerland who specialize now. We have a girl in London who's doing her specialty training. A couple of more guys in Germany, also Austria is one of the countries. So it was, and everyone made it. So everyone got the degree recognized, got the medical license, which is actually a separate topic, right? Because one thing is having your degree recognized, basically recognizing that you're finished the university. And the other topic is giving you the actual license to practice. And for Germany, that meant for me that I will need to prove some extra points there. So I had to show that I can actually communicate well in German. I had to show that I can safely, do the anamnesis with the patient. And that was one of the requirements, for example. And it's mostly the same for all the European countries. They don't make problems for recognizing your degree. They do demand some knowledge of the local language. But let's maybe talk shortly about the non-European countries.
Right. So a lot of times people ask, can I use my Italian English med degree outside of Europe? That is, outside of European Union countries and affiliated countries like Switzerland and Norway. Well, the answer is we don't really know because we don't have enough evidence. We can talk about the United States because that's one of the few countries outside of Europe that people have expressed a pretty strong desire to go to after they graduate. And the situation with the United States is precarious. Let's put it that way. So every U.S. state has different rules about which medical schools it recognizes. And if it doesn't recognize your medical school, then you cannot practice medicine in that state. And there are 50 of them. But most states follow what is called the California model or the California example. So because California is the biggest state and has sort of thought through all these issues, California came out with a list of medical schools that it recognizes. And all Italian language medical schools are on that list. The problem is that Italian English language medical schools are not on the California list. They don't, quote unquote, follow California. Okay, so that means that in California and all the many states which follow California, you cannot right now practice medicine as a doctor in the United States. So some schools like Milan have announced that they are applying for California recognition. Okay, that's a long process. And according to the people in Milan, they've finished the application and they've sent it to the Italian National Education Ministry. Yeah. And the National Education Ministry now has to make that application to California. Originally, the word was from the administration that California recognition would be a really fast process and it would be done by last September, but it hasn't been done yet. So we really don't know how long it's going to be before these schools are accredited in the United States. Nonetheless, 2 graduates, at least from Pavia, right, are working in the United States, but they're not working as doctors. They're postdoctoral fellows at some pretty big name U.S. medical institutions. And it's possible that they will be able to transition somehow into residency, but we don't know yet if that's definite or not. So if you are coming to the Italian medical schools in English with the intention of for sure working in the United States, I cannot anyway, promise you that is something that you'll be able to do.
Yeah, it doesn't mean you won't be able to do it. It's just I think it's a good sort of advice that you check with the authorities in that specific country that you plan to specialize in later on,
right,
before you really start the process for yourself.
Yeah.
But I think the situation is quite good because those English degrees are actually based on for the most part on the Italian counterparts. So the Italian degree is recognized probably everywhere. I mean, I don't know like of any example where you don't. And because the English degrees are newer, then they just didn't make it through this whole approval process in many places. And that's why it's advisable maybe to check that if you're talking about some really specific location abroad.
Right. So as for other countries, like, for example, Canada, Australia, those are places people seem to want to go. We simply don't know. We're doing that research right now. When we have answers, we'll get that to you as fast as we can on medschool.it.
Anything you want to say about our next video then?
Well, yeah, sure. With that very smooth transition. Our next video is going to be about a somewhat unrelated topic, but one of interest to you for sure, which is what is a typical day like at one of the English med schools in Italy? So
yeah, we're just wondering, probably you guys could be really excited about hearing what it actually is, like what it looks like to be a medical student. What do you go through?
Yeah, a hint, there is no typical day.
Okay, but we'll see that.
Yeah, so find that video and watch it, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel right over here in the little button. Go to medschool.it and the Facebook group of medschool.it, where you'll find basically everything you need to know about studying medicine and English in Italy. And thank you very much for all your interest and all your questions and all the contact that you make with us. It really brightens my day to work with you guys as individuals and as a group. And hopefully we'll see you in Italy soon. Ciao.
Ciao.
Ciao.